Dear family, it's your cousin P, man. I pray all is well out there. I know it's been a long time, but first and foremost, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last and greatest apostle. I thank him for Jesus in the gospel, Moses in the Torah, and Muhammad for the Holy Quran. Peace and blessings be upon these mighty servants that came among us, yet to guide us all on the right path. And their righteous and holy names, dear family, I greet you all in the divine greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum. And furthermore, I bear witness that the minister, Louis Farrakhan, is the reminder in our midst. And I thank Almighty God for choosing a strong black man here in the hills of North America to remind us of our duty, to remind us of our God, our religion, and all therein. And their righteous and holy names, dear family, I greet you in the divine greetings of peace. Of Assalamu alaikum, dear family. How y'all feeling? I'm going to get some people in the room before I get started. It's been so much of a long time. And I think that it's in the best interest to start this off by saying I pray that everybody is in the best of health, the best of spirit. Let me see. Let me get some light in here. There you go. We'll get some people in the room before we get started. Cousin P is going to speak on the importance of agreements and your word being your bond. Agreements and your word being your bond. I'm just pulling people into the room. I'm just bringing people in online at this time. First and foremost, this podcast is titled The Very Importance of Agreements and Your Word Being Your Bond. I was inspired and encouraged to begin my podcast is back. And a question was asked, where have you been? There's a saying that say, whatever you indulge in, be at your best. And I knew that I had so many other responsibilities and pushed and stretched in so many different directions that unfortunately I wouldn't be at my best in doing podcasts because my focus was elsewhere in establishing different things in my life as I move along in this journey called life. So with that said, dear family, agreements and your word being your bond. This subject title was given to me by a friend of mine, And when I took this subject title, Agreements and Your Word Being Your Bond, the first thing I did was look at self. And when you commit to an agreement with somebody and you don't live up to that agreement, you destroy the fabric of your relationship. You destroy the fabric of your character. Because when one is judged, they are judged on the conduct and character, on whether or not that person can trust you, on whether or not your worthiness is granted, where what you say out of your mouth, it can be believed. Tangibles. And I want to be the first to admit the funk that I have been in building economics with this trucking company. I have agreed to do certain things with certain individuals in my life that's in my life to help me and assist me in my life, and I haven't lived up to the expectation. So for that, to those that support me, that love me genuinely, and I said I would do something and I didn't do it. As E40 say, don't blame it on my heart, blame it on my mind. But as a man, I want to hold myself accountable. As a friend, I want to hold myself accountable. As a father, I want to hold myself accountable. As a businessman, I want to hold myself accountable. I have to do better. Because people gravitate to you, people look up to you because of your conduct and your character, your trustworthiness, and your commitment to not only yourself, but your commitment to somebody else's feelings. Because the expectation is you do what you say you're going to do and you carry out whatever agreement that's in place. And so I'm fully aware of me first, dear family, that I haven't lived up to the expectation. There is no excuse other than circumstantial situations that when building a business, as difficult a trucking company business is, it consumes. It consumes you. It stresses you. It stretches you. And as you can tell, I haven't been on these podcasts as much. As you could tell, those that I love truly and dearly, things that I say out of my mouth have not been the reality of my actions. So first and foremost, I want to apologize to you all and those that know. Uh, um, those that know understand that. Well, let me say this. I apologize. The importance of commitment is someone could believe that what you say or what you say you're going to do is going to be done. That means that that person trusts you. That means that that person can depend on you. And so when you come into an agreement, you establish a contract. And that contract, it has a lot of stipulations. If I would do A, B, and C, you do A, B, and C, and we could get the results that you and I are looking for. It also comes with an expectation. I expect you to do what you say you're going to do as you expect me to do what I say I'm going to do. When one deviates off the path of the agreement, it's hurtful because expectation hurts feelings. Expectation changes and alter relationships. And so we have to be more in tune with people that we deal with, people that we love, that we commit to doing something and we don't do it at all. We don't even call. We don't even reach out and let the person know, look, there's going to be there's some things that came up that's not allowing me to carry out what we agreed. Can we do it another time, or I just can't do it and I apologize? You know, those individuals, include myself, we can respect that. But when somebody involved time, when somebody involved energy, when somebody involved commitment into a project or into you, and you don't reciprocate the same energy and love, and you don't want to be committed as they are, then it becomes hurtful. It becomes disrespectful, and then the people start to disassociate themselves from you. So, dear family, excuse me, let's look at the word agreement. And if we are in an agreement to pay our mortgage on time, our bills on time, our car notes on time, our insurance on time, we have to be just as honorable to bills as we are to the human being in our life, that we agree with one another to do something. Because there are those of us that confess with our tongue, but our heart is far removed on doing what the agreement suggests that we supposed to do. Our word is not our bond. Our character begins to look tainted, and people begin to question whether or not should they deal with you or not. This is very important, dear family, in all relationships, even with children relationships. There's an expectation there, and I want to talk to the children as a father. Your expectation of me as a father is to carry out my duties as a father. Protect, provide, maintain, support, show love, sacrifice. You want me to commit to those principles of what a father's title is. But children, there's an expectation of you to be a daughter to me. What is the expectation? There's an expectation of you to be a son to me. What is the expectation? What is the agreement? What is the bond that we should have in place? Well, if you expect me to carry out the title and my duty as a father, I expect you to carry out your duty as my son or as my daughter. If you see me as your father, providing, protecting, maintaining, sacrificing, giving, and giving, and giving, and showing you that I'm in supportive of your schooling, supportive of your clothing, supportive of your eating, supportive of things that you like. Well, as a daughter or a son, you have to show some type of appreciation to your parents. That, Dad, Mom, I appreciate what you're doing for me, your effort, your, you know, some days you're tired, you working, you're cleaning, you're cooking, you're doing all these things. The the things that you require of me should be done without you asking. The house cleaned, the garbage taken out, good grades in school, protecting the house at all times, being courteous, being responsible to self. Because there's really nothing, children, that we want more than a responsible child that sees and loves and appreciate what we're through, what we do as parents, and you reciprocate that same love by acknowledging your responsibility as a child, your responsibility uh, to us, making sure your grades are intact. So then when the teacher call us and tell us, your daughter did this, your son did this, well, there, as a parent, we're going to look at your conduct and character. Are you, are is, you know, by judging the tree by the fruit it bears? How raggedy are you at home? Do you clean up your room? Do you clean up behind yourself? What do you do? So when the teacher tell us what you doing, we already know that, you know, the teacher may be right. But if you are being responsible as a son or a daughter and somebody come tell us about you, we know who our daughter is. We know who our son is. So dear family and dear children, there's a commitment that we have to make with one another. And we have to come into some type of agreement to reciprocate love. That you may respect and feel what I'm doing, and I may respect and feel what you're doing, so we could grow and keep our word and our commitment on what we say we gonna do, opposed to being so frustrated, so irritated, so done with. You know, we try to bless our children with nice kicks, nice clothes, money for movies, money for with your friends, but children, you have to also understand, when we invest in our children, we expect something in return. What is that? To love yourself, to respect yourself, and to be as courteous and responsible to us as you want us to be to you. Especially those who think they grown as hell, but don't know nothing. So with that said, dear family, this podcast is titled, What is the Importance of an Agreement? And keeping our word, our bond. Let's start. If you have no direction in any relationship, whether it's a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, friendship relationship, you go to the four corners, which I call in my house the table, and you write up an agreement, and let allow everyone to suggest how they feel or what they think is best, and us starting an agreement, starting on a different path that will bring us more love in our situations, more trust in our situations, more respect in our situations. So in the agreement, you should suggest, I'm willing to do all of this. What are you willing to do and to compensate so we could be as one? Person must be consistent in their effort to be there. Correct. So at this table, there should be a conversation had, an understanding had, agreement, and then action. Let's start putting not only us as, I'm not only going to put myself to the test, but going forward, If Parrish is unable to do something, it, except when I say I got a lot on my plate, because my happiness comes from everybody else's happiness. My happiness comes from making somebody else happy. That's just who I am as a human being. And sometimes people ask of me, when you could see that I got so much on my plate, but you not tuning in to what I have, and I would say, okay, I'm gonna do it. Not that I don't want to do it. I may have not just gotten to it, but it's in the best interest now that I see to just say I can't do it at this time. So if I've wronged anybody with my word not being my bond, if I've entered into any agreements that I was going to do something and I didn't do it, I want to apologize. My heart is big on saying yes when I just should say I'm not in a position to do it. So with that said, dear family, it's your Cousin P. Respect everybody who has listened to this podcast. Please share it to your platforms. And this podcast is titled "The Importance of an Agreement," and our word being our bond. We have to recondition and recommit, reevaluate where we at in our lives, and recommit to being treating people how we want to be treated. We have to recommit to being more passionate, having more compassion. And when I'm talking to you, I'm actually talking to myself of people's feelings. And so I'm willing to take this opportunity to submit and say I'm wrong about anything that I said I was going to do and I didn't do it. Um, you know, at this age, we have to stop being liars. At this age, we have to stop candy coating. We have to be truly one with God, one aligned with God, in order to receive all the things we need for this journey in the life. Because when we begin to lie, when we begin to deviate, when we begin to fornicate, meaning doing things not of God, we die a slow death. And this is why the scriptures said submission represents living and disobedience represents death. When we disobedient to the laws of righteousness, when we disobedient to the laws of treating people how we want to be treated, we die a slow death. And people don't want to deal with us. People stop liking us. We lose favor with those. So when I speak to you, dear family, I'm speaking to myself. Rest assured, I know my flaws. I know my hang-ups. And I just have to get better. So with that said, dear family, I love y'all. I don't love everybody. I love y'all in the sense of I want for myself what I want for you. And if you see me growing into something, grow with me. Don't allow me to outgrow you. Because there's different dimensions and different levels to this. All right? So black and so beautiful. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Cousin P. And also, we got the big podcast jumping. We still working on it, man. Like I said, trucking business got me every which way we haven't yet focused